Hockey playoffs are upon us. Here to make sense of tonight's 4-game slate are DraftKings contributor Geoff Ulrich and Rotowire's Paul Bruno and AJ Scholz. So guys, like I said, 4 playoff games on the docket tonight. Let's start in Boston as the Bruins even the series with a thrilling Game 2 OT win over the Caps. So if you're looking for plus money in this game, would you rather bet Washington on the money line, plus 140, or take the Bees on the puck line, plus 155? Or, do you hate both those options, Geoff?
If I was going to choose between one, I would definitely just go with the Washington Capitals money line. These two teams have just played. They're just every game is 1-goal games. Even in the regular season record between these two teams was 4-4, and the goal differential was 25-24 Boston. These two teams are just destined to play 1-goal games every game of the series, it feels like. So I would rather lean towards Washington money line. If I'm being honest, though, I think I'd rather I kind of just hate both of these. I think I'd rather go into the player props. Washington's still starting Craig Anderson. It looks like that's just the way they're going to roll. I would rather go with a guy like Taylor Hall to score a point here. He's minus 118, scored a goal and 7 shots in the last game. He's playing over 17 minutes. So I'd probably rather dip in there. I kind of like targeting the Bees offense, but I really don't want to start predicting who's going to win this series or this game anyways. I think Boston's going to win the series, but with how close they're playing, I'd rather go to the player props or something like that.
Paul, do you like either of these, or are you just like, I hate them both?
Well, I have a marginal interest in the puck line in favor of the Bruins tonight. I think they're going to win this game, and I think we're seeing the thin end of the wedge in terms of all the numbers that Geoff said. It's pretty close, but I think you're going to see that disparity grow as the series extends. I believe the big edge in goal is on the Bruins side of the ledger with Rask over Anderson, and it's only going to grow as the season progresses. They're also the healthier team. In addition to the top 2 goalies being sidelined in Washington, the bigger issue is that center, they're very weak when you consider Kuznetsov is in COVID protocol. I think the Bruins will take advantage of the last change at home tonight to get the perfection line, some very favorable matchups, and that's going to be a key. I think the Bruins are going to roll tonight.
AJ, what do you think?
Oh, I'm with Geoff. Between the two, I'd rather take the money line at plus 140. Now, having said that, I'm also agreeing with Geoff and looking at other options here in this game. And one that I think, based on these first 2 games, consider the 60-minute line and taking tie at plus 330. These teams are just so evenly matched. They might get Evgeny Kuznetsov back. It sounds like it's about his conditioning, but honestly, I look for this game to go to another overtime, and so plus 330 on that is where I'm going to get my value out of this game.
Yeah, fun fact, guys, Bruins versus Caps is the only head-to-head matchup in Stanley Cup playoffs history with 10-plus consecutive 1-goal games. So, yeah. All right, well, next up, the Hurricanes have a 1-game series lead over Nashville. They're rolling into Game 2 as minus 190 favorites. Paul, is it smart to take the plus money on the money line with the underdog Preds 163, or do you think Carolina rolls in this one?
I do think Carolina rolls in this one. I predict an easy win for them too. Look, they're 6-2 on the season against Nashville in that series, and we saw more of the same in Game 1. So in horse racing terms, we call that quite a form chart, I think. Look, the Canes have a much deeper offense, and a big part of that advantage at the center, where the Preds have had no answer for Aho, Trocheck, and Stahl. On our pod at Rotowire, in fact, AJ and I have slammed Johansson and Duchesne all season long as the 1-2 punchless punch at center that they have there. They've combined for only 13 goals, 35 points on the season, costing the club $16 million under the cap. That's not good value at all, and that continues tonight.
AJ, you agree?
For me, this is a spot to look puck line at Carolina minus a goal and a half. You get value at plus 138, which is pretty good, all things considered. Look, they got goals from Teravainen and Svechnikov in Game 1. Contributions on the back end from Pesce, solid net minding from the youngster Nedeljkovic. I expect them to continue to steamroll the Predators in this one. Maybe Nashville can snag a game at home, but look, this could be a sweep here, and you can get that value, the 4-0 sweep at plus 335 right now.
Geoff, I know you think that Carolina rolls.
Yeah, I like all these calls. Carolina right now, it kind of feels like looking at these lines. They're a little bit of like the Rodney Dangerfield of the NHL. Why are they only minus 190 here? And then you've got Colorado as a massive favorite over St. Louis. Are you telling me that the Predators are that much better than St. Louis, or Carolina is that much worse than Colorado? There's really good value here on just taking the money line with Carolina. Look, maybe the Predators steal a game. UC Saros stops 50 shots one here, but you're not getting a big enough number at plus 163 to take that on the money line with the Predators here. Like I said, or like AJ alluded to too, just taking the plus money on the puck line here is probably a better bet. I mean, you could easily see like 4 2+ goal wins by the Hurricanes, and maybe the Predators snatch one, like I said, from the jaws of defeat or something. But I think Carolina is just a far, far superior team here. These guys already alluded to the lackluster Nashville offense. Yeah, there's nothing good. There's no way I want to take any part of the Predators at this number. I think there's really good value on the Hurricanes tonight.
All right, guys, the Jets and Oilers open up their best of 7 series tonight in Edmonton. Now, the Oilers are favored in game 1 at -159 on the money line. AJ, do you think that the best bet here is picking one of these teams to win or looking at the total? So, I mean, it is set high at 6, but you got to take into consideration these are two teams that both averaged over 3 goals a game during the regular season.
Yeah, between those two choices, I'm a shade the over here at -105, but for me, again, the real value comes looking at the puck line. The Oilers minus a goal and a half here at +155. Let's not forget the Jets struggled down the stretch. They could be without Pierre-Luc Dubois, who hasn't been great for them, admittedly, goalless in his last 17 games, but that's still going to stretch their depth. They may still be without Nikolai Ehlers, who's basically been irreplaceable for them on the wing in the top 6 there. If those guys aren't playing, this is one that could get out of hand early. So I think the puck line, another great value here at +155.
Geoff, you into the puck line here?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's one way you can go. I think I'd rather, like AJ, I think I'd rather go with just taking the Oilers to win in some fashion than attacking the over-under. It's the playoffs. I mean, and he just alluded to, what is the Winnipeg Jets offense going to look like here? Like, are they going to have enough punch? I mean, Mike Smith is playing well. You could get like some kind of 4-1, 5-1 victory by the Oilers, right? And on the other hand, I mean, Connor Hellebuck could just come out of nowhere and make this a close game too. So I think I'd rather just take the Oilers on the money line, if I'm being honest, -167, maybe getting a little bit of value there. I think just with how beat up the Jets are and just quite frankly, how terrible they were down the stretch. I also like Leon Draisaitl to score 2+ points. He's +110. He's way better odds than you're getting on McDavid on that prop. So I like Draisaitl a lot tonight in the player props as well.
Paul, what are you looking at?
When I look at the season series here, I see that the teams combined for less than 6 goals 4 times in the 9 games that they played. I thought that number would be much lower, expecting more shootouts along that ledger. That said, I think I'll go with the over because McDavid and Draisaitl will be pumped to finally get going. The captain, in fact, has scored 22 points in 9 games versus Winnipeg this season, no fewer than 2 a game, and averaging 2.5. That doesn't leave much more for the rest of the two teams to do in order to get to the 6-goal total tonight. So I'm taking the over.